are Pro Cannabis Media.
A man who needs no introduction is Rob Gronkowski, the Gronk, a retired tight end of the six-time Super Bowl champion New England Patriots. Now, meet Perry Antelman, the CEO of Abacus and CBD Medic, the product that has changed his life so much, Gronk wants to sell it. On In the Weeds with Jimmy Young.
Don't look now, but it's a whole new world of weed out there. Pot is flower, it's Bruce Banner and Blue Dream. You've got bongs and dabs, resin and shatter, vaping and edibles, new terms, new strains, and new ways to use cannabis sativa, the plant. Some just made with CBD, and hemp has minimal THC. There's sativa and indica strains, and 100 chemicals, all legal in 10 states for adult use. There's a lot to get to know. Get used to it, folks, because it's legal in the Bay State and it's not going away. Neither is In the Weeds with Jimmy Young next. Revolutionary Clinics is just one of 49 medical cannabis dispensaries in Massachusetts, but there's a reason why it's one of the most popular. It's their patient-first philosophy. All day long, they teach, they educate, they communicate about this complicated plant called cannabis sativa. That's true whether you visit their Cambridge location in Fresh Pond at 110 Fawcett Street or at 67 Broadway in Somerville. Revolutionary Clinics, where the patient comes first.
Hi, everyone. Welcome again to another special edition of In the Weeds on location at Cannabis in Montego Bay, Jamaica. I'm Jimmy Young, your host, and I'm very proud to be sitting next to Perry Antelman, who is the CEO of CBD Medic and Abacus, which is one of the sponsors here at Cannabis. So far, Perry, this show has been a rather interesting show. There are some real movers and shakers wandering around.
This is true. Actually, I just got through a conversation with Bruce Linton. He was just in the conference hall. So no question. Also, ministers from different island nations are here as well. Ministry of Health as well. So definitely some key individuals for great networking possibilities.
Great set of speakers. Honest to God, I've been to a lot of these conventions, and this is like a dream team of speakers from not just around here, but I mean all over the world. They're here.
This is true. Actually, I have to say, honestly, of all the cannabis conventions I've been to a lot. This has been really informative, perhaps the most informative conference I have been to. Fabulous speakers, very knowledgeable, and actually some really heated discussions. I was in a discussion talking about how to get cannabis out and the knowledge of cannabis and the exposure of Jamaica, how they could come out into the marketplace, etc. Very heated debate. It was actually quite an experience.
Is that because the people of Jamaica, they're so proud of their culture and the history of the plant here that they're trying to protect it as well as try to control it?
I think that they are definitely trying to protect it, but also in a big way, Jamaica is synonymous with cannabis. I mean, as far as everybody was like, oh, that's like the epitome of, cannabis. And they know that as well. But they have a lot to work out between the regulatory environment, between the government, between the growers, the people, the healthcare industry. Just like any country going through the end of Prohibition era, they definitely have their challenges ahead of themselves.
Isn't it amazing to be part of this history? Come on.
It's fantastic. I wake up in the morning, I start to pinch myself and say, is this really happening? And it really is, because, as a teenager or even in college, you're like, oh, that will never happen. But it is. It's happening for our eyes, and it's fabulous to be part of it. Also on the business side, on the just sociological side. It's fabulous. It really is fantastic.
You're meeting some great people. I know I am. I think the cannabis community is bonded by a spirituality.
Spirituality and health. And health is driving this, and for the right reasons. It is fabulous what this plant is, what it's teaching us that it can do. How fabulous is that? And it just, the truth be told, we know that it can help with anxiety. We know that it can help with depression. We know that it can help with some serious ailments. There's a prescription drug, Epidiolex, for epileptic seizures. So there's real science here in this plant. And we will know more and more over the years as a lot of research continues to go through as far as how this can help us. It's a wonderful find. And to be able to help millions of people from suffering around the world, what could be better than that? So.
And also the fact that the our people in Israel are leading a lot of the science and research in this. In fact, every time I talk to any of the scientists, they all say that Israel is far ahead of the curve than the rest of the world as far as research goes.
I'd have to concur, yeah, absolutely. And I've been through it to a lot of countries, checking out the R&D that is being done in these countries and the institutions. It is true, Israel is by far ahead, but they also had a great head-running start, okay? Dr. Meshulam, Hebrew University, you can look it up actually on Wiki, 1957 he discovered THC. So they've been researching it for over 60 years. And when you've been doing that, you know a lot about the plant. The work that's being done there at the speed of light, I would say, over in Israel is really very impressive. Using also artificial intelligence and programming as well to work through the databases of tens of thousands of people that use the plant and different strains that are being used as far as really identifying which strains are good for what medical indications. That is key. And then breaking that down, of course, the mapping of every single cannabinoid, every flavonoid, every terpene that is in here, and sorting through that all to be able to match it up to the right medical conditions. They're doing it at the speed of light, and they're coming up with phenomenal results. I was just there a week and a half ago, and I was just blown away by the advancements that they're making in medicine with cannabis.
Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about CBD Medic, shall we? Since I'm somewhat familiar with the product since I met you about a month ago. And since then, your company has signed on some guy named Gronkowski. I don't know. I think he played for some football team in New England somewhere that's done pretty well over the last, 20 years or so. Can you take us a little bit about how you ended up with Rob Gronkowski as an endorser for your product?
Yeah, I love this story. I can just tell it like it is. It's such a great, authentic story. So an acquaintance of ours actually visited us in Israel because we also have offices in Israel. Tried the product, loved the product. He's an older gentleman, has arthritis. He continuously have had over the last 2 decades a relationship with Rob's father in the fitness market. And so he sent some to Rob's father, to Gordy. Gordy tries it, says, wow, this is amazing. This is really helping my pain. Sends some to Rob. Sits at Rob's house for a couple weeks. Rob calls up his father, they're talking, how's your day going? Oh, you know what, I was playing soccer in my backyard, stubbed my toes, they're black and blue, I'm in a lot of pain. He says, well, have you tried the stuff I sent you yet? He's like, oh no, I haven't tried that. He picks up the tube, and in Rob's fashion, which is fantastic, he's all about natural products. He lives his life naturally. Everything he eats is all natural. You should see his commercial-sized juicer on the counter in his kitchen. Takes full stalks of celery, cuts off the head, the bottom, puts it through the juicer, comes out. Anyway, so he picks up the tube, reads the ingredients first. He won't touch anything unless he knows it's all natural. He's like, gee, I know all these ingredients. I can understand them. This is all natural. This looks great. Okay, I'll put it on. And he was blown away. He said, this is incredible how quickly it's helped my pain. He starts smearing it all over his body. And that was, the rest is history. He calls back to his father, this is amazing stuff. I love this stuff. I want to work with this company. And we made the connection. And it's been a wonderful relationship ever since.
I've seen the picture that you have on your phone, the group shot. You know what I'm talking about with Rob. At some point, I'd love for you to share it with our audience. You need to show it now, but at some point you could share with me, and I'll show this great picture. There, because the smile on your face is so genuine. It was really cool.
Yeah, it's great. He's a wonderful guy. In fact, part of this whole, coming out as far as the pain that these athletes have and what they have to deal with, really was a wake-up call for all of us. There are human beings under those helmets that are playing this incredibly difficult, hard sport.
Violent, emotional.
Yep, and reality, it's what we pay for. And quoting Rob, they all know what they're getting. This is what they're in for. They know. And he also said how well the NFL takes care to try to make sure that the players are as safe as possible. But it is a tough, hard, physically painful sport. And so to start to realize that there are humans under those helmets and they can have pain and they have feelings, I think is what really sent this message home, and also helps us advocate for the importance of CBD to be used by athletes through the sports market, the sports sector. Why not? In fact, if you and I can go into CVS or a similar type of retail pharmacy chain and buy a product that has CBD in it, why can't the players? They should not be banned for being able to doing that, right? And that's going to come around. And the NFL is very open to this. And I think they are going to come around, and I think that they will support this as well. But it makes sense that the players should be able to at least self-medicate with something that is already allowed for the consumer. And you and I can walk and do it. Why can't they?
Right. And the WADA, World Anti-Doping Association, has cleared the way for CBD because it was used in the World Cup in Russia last year. It was the first major sporting event that CBD was not on the banned substances. Yeah. And that
Olympic athletes can use CBD. Right. You can be in the Olympics. Right. You can compete on CBD. You can be breathing it in, drinking it, eating it, and you can go into competition. It's okay because it is non-psychoactive. And that's, by the way, really important to educate the public. Everybody needs to understand that CBD, especially the CBD called broad spectrum oil, CBD, that has no THC in it. There's no marijuana in it. And a lot of people still don't understand that. And I understand. They're afraid because for years they think of cannabis as THC, getting stoned. They think of the psychoactive effects. There is no THC in any of the CBD Medic products whatsoever. You will not get stoned. You will not get high. You will not fail a drug test. You will not lose your job. But you will lose your pain. That's what we're going after.
Which is a pretty good thing. And, that, you and I talked and met about a month ago. I suffer from arthritis. And interestingly enough, 1957, I learned this from you, THC was discovered.
Yes.
As a chemical, right? Yes. That was the year I was born. I'm not quite sure if there's a coincidence there or not. It's also the first year the Celtics won their first ever championship. Just so happens it's 62 because that is how old I am.
Born again?
I feel born again now because I'm taking a vat full of CBD Medic home with me and rolling it around in my hot tub in it because that's how I have to live. How has the campaign been going? How well received? Are you starting to see any kind of an ROI in your sales and the more people know about it? In fact, I ran into a guy from Jamaica. He was a Patriots fan. Yeah. And he said, I know all about this product. How do you know about this product? He said, well, I know Gronkowski. And I said, don't you want to meet the guy who's like the head of the head of the company? He goes, yeah, I'd love to. I said, come back later. So he may come over. But he certainly buys into the impact that athletes' endorsements can have on products.
No question. Again, what's wonderful about this relationship is it's real, it's authentic. He really has been using this to recover.
He needs a lot of recovery because if you're a fan, you know that his body has been beaten up.
Yeah, and just to be clear, okay, it's not like only CBD and that's it and he was recovered, okay? CBD should be used holistically. Holistic basically means as a yes, natural, but as a full circle program for recovery. And let me speak to that for a moment, because I was when I was in Israel at Canatech, visiting one of the research companies out there. They were telling us how they had just finished research, and the response from they did a large trial and a large questionnaire with a trial, and they're wanting to, how has this helped your pain? And it was off the charts, okay? People have changed their life. When they got into the details of the questions, and I'm talking about an ingestible, by the way, not a topical for CBD, they were saying, yeah, and then when they actually got a rating of how much it helped with their pain, with whatever the ailment was that they had, it actually helped it only by like 30%. And they're like, wait a minute, all right, wait, hold on a second. Overall, they're saying it changed their life by 70, 80, 100%, turned everything around, but the pain actually had only been helped by 30%. Because what we don't realize is when people are in pain, it gets them depressed. It also gets people angry. It changes their outlook on life, what they do every day, getting out of bed in the morning, what they're going to accomplish that day. And if you can lower that pain by 30%, all of a sudden they feel like a new person and they feel better and there's progress. So there's really a holistic recovery. And if you do that, and then of course if you eat well and you start moving and you start doing think about it, right? You start all around feeling better about yourself. One thing leads to another, and so it can be an excellent and a critical catalyst to full recovery. And this is basically how it continued to help Gronk. He was in pain. He was eating healthier, working out differently, really recovering his body. And then this came, and this was the straw that broke the camel's back. He said, "This is amazing. I am now fully recovered." And that's what he was talking about.
And I wonder, I'm thinking as a impulsive Patriots fan here, okay, will he come back this year? You know, there was all sorts of rumors just because he retired. He wants to get his body healed. That was the whole point of the retirement announcement in the offseason. We all get this if you follow the Patriots. Everybody wants to know, is he going to come back? What's your feeling, Perry?
Okay, so I'm going to quote Rob, okay? So I'm not going to put any words in my own. Okay, so first of all, and he's even mentioned, wait till week 14, right? He's been saying that. Right. And then even actually, we were traveling around Israel last week, and he was saying, well, I'm feeling...
Rob Gronkowski in the Promised Land. You got to hang with him in the Promised Land, right?
6 amazing, incredible days, and we'll have footage coming out with that soon. It was amazing, trip of a lifetime. It was really, really, really incredible.
So is he coming back? What's the deal?
Okay, so when he was even joking around, he's saying, this is working so good. Maybe it's now week 8. You know, he was like moving it up. Look, first of all, let's talk about legalities here, okay? He is officially banned from coming back to the NFL because he's endorsing and he's working with a CBD company.
Oh, see, that's an interesting story. I don't think I've heard that. Very good. I love getting a little exclusive stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you endorse a company that's into alcohol, tobacco, or now CBD, even though CBD isn't written, by the way, in the rule book of the NFL, it's cannabis, okay, it's marijuana. But because that still is a component and it's not fully everybody understand.
Well, 10 years ago when they wrote that, they didn't have as much knowledge as they have now.
No question, no question. And that's why this is going to be reviewed, and most likely this will be passed. And again, they're all about helping the health and pain of the athletes.
And in my opinion, just for the record here, okay, it's about time, because I really do believe that the ownership has taken advantage of the humans that play that game for our entertainment with non-guaranteed contracts and no lifetime health benefits. To me, that's a criminal behavior. That collective bargaining agreement has to be ripped up in the next year, which is expiring anyway. So I'm pretty radical when it comes to this. I really think it's time for the players, if they're not going to be able to negotiate fairly with the owners, and this is not something that you need to have an opinion on or anything, but I'm just kind of getting onto the bandwagon here because it's something I'm very passionate about. I wrote an article to Robert Kraft at the beginning of the season that was printed in Sensi magazine, urging him to take the lead on getting rid of opioids in the NFL, getting them on CBD, and easing up the whole restrictions on marijuana. I don't like to use that word, but the THC-laced cannabis sativa plant.
I understand. Clearly, there's a lot of work that still needs to go and be done there. What I can tell you, working closely with Rob, is that he's always been very comfortable with how the NFL continues to take care of their, and I'm not advocating on their part or on one side or the other, but as far as caring about the pain and suffering that the players go through and trying to make it as safe for sport as possible.
I think they want to. They have the alternative committee now. They're looking at alternative therapies. They had to. By the way, the NFL really doesn't do anything until they have to do it. But then again, they're one of the more successful companies in the world. What do I know about that, right? They're much more successful than I am, so I get their methodology. That being said, Perry, what's the future? Go ahead.
So that ban, that's a real ban. So he would not be able to play simply because he's endorsing a CBD company.
So it's your fault.
It's both of our faults.
Okay.
However, at the same time, but that ban might disappear in a few months. It is possible. There's a lot of pressure to have this meeting together between the players' union and the NFL. So I think that definitely is coming down. And the question is not if, the question is when it will happen. And but he, in the meantime, he is a beast. He continues to work out like crazy. He's in awesome shape. He's lost some weight as well. He's faster now. He's feeling better. He's a beast, and I wouldn't be surprised if he. I'm not saying when, because I don't know. Only he knows.
I don't even know if there's going to be football next year. I'm telling you, they're going to a work stoppage. There's no doubt in my mind. If their owners draw a line in the sand, and they have every right to, they're owners of a major corporation, and it's a trust. I mean, it's a monopoly. There's not a lot of people in this space. They have that opportunity, and I really hope that they, as players, I hope they do take advantage of it because if there's going to be a work stoppage, 100% of the public are going to be behind these players because now they know what that impact of those collisions in that sport have on their bodies. Not just their bodies, people, it's the brain too, and that's the one that
this has started to really humanize the players, and that is what it should have been from day one. I agree with you. It could be you out there, could be me out there. Not really, but you know.
Wait a second. We're both Jewish guys, right? I just want to say my mother in the 60s knew that football, American football, would cause brain damage if you played. I mean, she was a Jewish mother. She was a little overprotective, and God, I love her.
There were no helmets.
There were no helmets right back then. Well, not those days. But anyway, point being is they kept me out because of that. Yeah. They knew a long time ago. That's why I played soccer. That's why you said when you said Gronk was actually playing soccer, yes. I would love to have seen video of that.
Yeah, sure.
Because he's a field player. He's not a goalie because he can touch the crossbar.
Well, maybe that's why he stubbed his toe into somebody.
If he's kicking with his toe, he's not well trained. Okay, I can work with him on that. Hey, Perry Antelman, you know what's been fun the last month? Just kind of getting to know you, watching your company, the signing, the story, and now hanging out with you at a convention has been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed that, and it's really what I like about what I'm doing now is meeting new, interesting people who have a similar vision on improving the world. That's what it's about, isn't it?
That is what our culture is all about in our company. That's what we love first and foremost. We come in the morning, everybody knows that what we're doing, everything that we're touching is helping people from suffering in the world. And what is a better feeling than that? Coming to work, know that you're going to make a difference in the world. You can help people with pain and suffering. My God, that's the best. And so we share that culture throughout the company, and it's wonderful.
Congratulations, Perry.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
It's really been good. It's been really good. I really appreciate you taking the time. Perry Antelman from CBD Medic, and yeah, he's buddies with Rob Gronkowski. He went to the promised land with Gronk. I mean, and you have video of this too.
Okay, I'll show you. I'll share one photo.
The one photo, and I want you to put it up to that camera there because that's going to be the easiest one to show it to. And then a reminder that this podcast is available on iTunes. It's on our Pro Cannabis Media social media outlets, and of course most major podcast distributors like Spotify and what have you. Remember, it's a whole new world of weed out there, folks. Use it responsibly. We'll see you next time.
Revolutionary Clinics is just one of 49 medical cannabis dispensaries in Massachusetts, but there's a reason why it's one of the most popular. It's their patient-first philosophy. All day long, they teach, they educate, they communicate about this complicated plant called cannabis sativa. That's true whether you visit their Cambridge location in Fresh Pond at 110 Fawcett Street or at 67 Broadway in Somerville. Revolutionary Clinics, where the patient comes first.
We are Pro Cannabis Media.